You know those people, right? The ones who just seem to have this effortless magic about them. They can walk into any room and people just gravitate towards them. They make friends easily, their ideas actually get heard, and they influence people without even seeming to try. Well, what if I told you it's not magic? It's a skill. And almost a century ago, a guy named Dale Carnegie literally wrote the book on it, a guide with secrets to social success that are just as mind-blowingly effective today as they were back in 1936. It's a question that probably hits home for a lot of us. What's the secret sauce? What separates being liked from being, well, just kind of there? Carnegie's big idea was that it's not some mystery you're born with. It's a system, a set of rules anyone can learn. In fact, he famously claimed that only about 15% of your financial success comes from your technical knowledge. The other 85%? That comes down to what he called human engineering, basically your personality and your ability to lead people.
So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to decode Carnegie's entire system. We'll start with his formula for just being more likable, then we'll get into the art of persuasion and how to lead change. After that, we're going to tackle the big controversial question. Is this stuff genuine or is it just manipulation? And we'll wrap it all up with a 7-day challenge so you can test this out for yourself. All right, first things first, let's talk about the likability formula. Carnegie was crystal clear on this. Before you can persuade anyone, before you can lead anyone, you have to get them to actually like you. It's the absolute bedrock of every single successful human interaction, and he broke it down into some seriously powerful and simple principles. Okay, rule number 1, and it's a big one. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Carnegie said it's totally pointless. All it does is put people on the defensive, hurts their pride, and makes them resent you. It almost never leads to real, lasting change. Instead, you got to do the exact opposite. Give honest, sincere appreciation. And we're not talking about fake flattery here. We're talking about tapping into one of the deepest cravings of human nature, the desire to feel important. Third, become genuinely interested in other people. And last but not least, maybe the easiest tool you have, just smile. A real smile is a universal signal that you're friendly, you're safe, and it has an instant positive effect on people. This quote right here, this is the whole game. It's a fundamental shift in your entire approach to people. Most of us walk around trying so hard to be interesting, right? We want to tell our stories, talk about what we've done, share our opinions. Carnegie says, forget all that. The real secret is to be interested. Ask questions, actually listen, encourage people to talk about themselves. You know, there's even Harvard research showing that talking about ourselves lights up the pleasure centers in our brain, the same parts that fire up for food and money. So when you listen, you are literally making people feel good, and they can't help but associate that good feeling with you. This is so simple, but it is so powerful. Think about it. A person's name is their identity. It's the one word that belongs entirely to them. Hearing our own name actually lights up the emotional parts of our brain. So when someone remembers and uses your name, it's a massive signal that you matter to them. It creates this instant subconscious connection. And forgetting it, well, that sends the opposite message. Making the tiny effort to remember someone's name is one of the biggest, yet simplest compliments you can ever give. Okay, so you've laid the groundwork. People like you, they feel comfortable around you. Now we're leveling up. We're moving into the art of persuasion. And this is where the book starts to get a little more controversial. This is about how to actually change minds and influence what people do, but without sparking a huge fight. This is probably one of Carnegie's most famous and most debated ideas. He was convinced that 9 times out of 10, an argument just ends with both people being even more sure that they were right all along. You literally can't win. I mean, sure, you can poke holes in their logic and prove them wrong on paper, but you've probably lost their goodwill in the process. You've wounded their pride. It's a totally empty victory. Real persuasion, he says, comes from diplomacy, not from a verbal boxing match. But wait a minute. This principle immediately brings up a huge question about being authentic. And this comment from a Reddit user just nails that concern. Is Carnegie telling us to just be people pleasers, to never stand up for what we believe in? This is the core criticism of the book, that it teaches a kind of shallow agreeableness that just falls apart in real, deep relationships, where, let's be honest, disagreements aren't just normal, they're necessary for growth. But here's the thing. Carnegie wasn't saying never disagree. He was saying don't argue, and there's a difference.
He laid out a whole playbook for handling disagreements in a smart way. First, welcome it. It's a chance to see another perspective. Next, control your temper. That initial gut reaction to fight back, hold it. Just listen. Then find some common ground, anything you can agree on to start. And here's a big one. Be honest about where you might be wrong. It's incredibly disarming. And if things get too hot, just agree to postpone the chat. See? It's not about being a doormat, it's about being a strategic communicator. This quote, which Carnegie loved, just sums up his whole approach. You can't start a conversation with hostility and expect to get a positive result. It just creates more hostility. But if you begin in a genuinely friendly way, you lower people's defenses. It makes them way more open to hearing you out. It's the difference between trying to kick down a locked door and just being handed the key. Okay, this brings us to our final set of principles, and they're all about leadership. But you don't need to be a CEO for this to apply. This is for anyone, a parent, a team lead, a friend who needs to help someone change or correct a mistake, but in a way that actually inspires them instead of just making them angry. Okay, look closely here because the power is in a single three-letter word. This is Carnegie's masterclass in correcting mistakes indirectly. Think about it. The moment we hear the word but, we brace for impact. It feels like it completely erases all the praise that just came before it. But if you just swap but for and, everything changes. The praise stays real, and the feedback feels like an encouraging next step, not a criticism. It's a pivot, not a punch. So much of Carnegie's leadership style is about one thing: preserving human dignity. You always start with sincere praise. Before you point out someone else's mistake, you talk about your own. It shows you're humble and you're not perfect either. Instead of barking orders, you ask questions like, what do you think if we tried it this way? It gives people ownership. And this is crucial. You never, ever humiliate someone. You always give them a way to save face. And finally, you praise every tiny improvement along the way to build their confidence. So, we've walked through the core ideas, but this brings us right back to the massive debate that has followed this book for nearly 100 years. Is this a genuine toolkit for building better relationships, or is it a cold, calculated manual for psychological manipulation? And honestly, the answer really depends on your perspective and your intentions. On one side of the argument, you have people who swear this book was a lifesaver. And this Reddit user makes a really powerful point. For someone who grew up in a home where they were never taught basic social skills, or maybe even worse, they were abused, Carnegie's ideas aren't about manipulation at all. They're a clear, kind roadmap for how to have positive interactions. It's like being handed a social blueprint when you never got one. For them, it's about building healthy connections for the first time. And then you have the complete opposite take. This person doesn't mince words, do they? This captures the core of the criticism, that the book just teaches you to be spineless, to always agree, to smile and nod, and to value being liked over being honest and true to yourself. The fear is that if everyone followed these rules, we'd lose all the healthy debate and real feedback that actually helps us grow. This critique adds another really important layer. It basically argues that Carnegie's methods can be dangerously naive in the real world. In a high-stakes business negotiation or in any situation with a serious power imbalance, being super agreeable and avoiding all confrontation doesn't make you influential. It can make you a doormat. It suggests that without a real understanding of how power works, these principles could actually make you seem weak and get you taken advantage of. And this right here just highlights that tension perfectly. Now, Dale Carnegie wasn't directly related to Andrew Carnegie, by the way, but the contrast in their approaches is stark. While Dale was writing about winning people over with kindness, the man who made the Carnegie name famous, Andrew, was a ruthless tycoon who literally used private armies against his own striking workers. It's a powerful reminder that in the real world, influence isn't always about a drop of honey. Sometimes it's about sheer brute force. So, we've looked at the principles, we've heard the praise, and we've heard the harsh criticisms. But, listening to me talk about it is one thing. The only way to really know what you think, to form your own opinion, is to actually try it. So I want to leave you with a super practical 7-day challenge to test some of these core ideas in your own life. Here we go. Go ahead and screenshot this if you want. Day 1, super simple. Just give a genuine, friendly smile to 5 strangers and see what happens. Day 2, pick one conversation and try to use the person's name 3 times. Just notice how it changes the vibe. Day 3,
This one's tough. Listen to a friend for 2 full minutes without interrupting once. Day 4, give one person a genuine and specific compliment. Not just nice shirt, but why you like it. Day 5, get out of small talk. Ask someone a real question about their life. Day 6, try to get someone to say yes a few times before you get to your main point. And day 7, this is the advanced level. Try to guide someone to an idea with questions so they feel like they came up with it themselves. Give it a shot. See what it feels like.
And in the end, that's really what this whole thing boils down to. These principles are just a tool. A hammer can be used to build a beautiful house, or it can be used to smash a window. The hammer itself isn't good or bad. It's all about the intention of the person holding it. And it's the same thing here. These techniques can absolutely be used with sincerity to build deeper, more empathetic connections. Or they can be used to cynically manipulate people. The principles themselves don't have a moral compass. You do. The real question isn't whether the book is right or wrong, but how you are going to use it.
And that is our deep dive into one of the most famous and controversial self-help books of all time. If you found this explainer valuable, if it got you thinking, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. Subscribe so you don't miss our next one, and share this with anyone you know who might get something out of it. Thanks so much for watching.